Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session Learning the Basics of Information Security How One Can Start. Myself, Dhanashri, I will be your host for the day. On behalf of Team EC Council and Team CodeRed, I would like to welcome our speaker for the day, that's Tino Šokić. Tino is a cybersecurity professional with an emphasis on users' privacy who has been in the field of IT for over 10 years now. The combination of law school and IT certifications with a systems engineer background has produced a need to raise awareness of the technologies that surround people's lives. As a cybersecurity awareness and an open source intelligence trainer, Tino provides easy to follow curriculums consisting of hands-on examples and real-life stories. His focus is on the human side of technology. Tino is a co-founder of the Croatian regional biggest website that provides free tutorials and how-tos about the technology and attends various cybersecurity conferences across Europe as a guest speaker. He is also a column writer for one of the first Croatia's IT magazine and a regular guest on cybersecurity questions on the national TV. Please note, the session will be listen-only mode and will last for 40 minutes, out of which 10 minutes will be dedicated to the Q&A. So requesting all the participants to post your questions in the Q&A window. Should you need any assistance during this session, please use the chat box. We have two criteria for certification. One, participants need to attend the complete webinar. Two, fill in the poll that will be sent across to you on an email post the webinar, along with the webinar recording. So make sure you fill in the survey and attend the full webinar. Now, without any further ado, we will turn the time over to you, Tino.
Hello. Yes, thank you, Dhanashri. Hello, everyone. Yes, this is, as usual, we kind of got used to this, haven't we? The thing with the screen, although there are a couple hundred people here and everything, it would be better live, for me at least. But it is what it is. So let's make the best out of it. Okay. So actually, Dhanashri said a lot of things about me. So I won't repeat all of them. I will some of them. I'll put some emphasis and everything. So welcome. I hope this will be, as you can see, this is a live event. I hope this will be educational and for educational purposes only, because sometimes I give different advices that can be used, of course, with some malicious intent, something like that. So this presentation is called The Basics of Information Security. How can one start? Yes, there isn't a quick way to start, I would say, but there is an easy way to start. So without further ado, allow me to go with the slides. So the key takeaways that I'll try to provide you here now for 30 minutes or so is I will try to tell you the difference between information security and cybersecurity, because, okay, for instance, everyone knows what information security is. You're securing information, but usually cybersecurity is used as a synonym interchangeably, and that's not correct entirely. So I'm going to tell you an important difference here. Next is my experience that I want to share, which is always ongoing. Almost, I would say every day is a new experience. So with clients, and with learning stuff and learning getting new ideas and so forth. So I will share my experience throughout the session. I will provide you with tips on how to get, those are only tips and advices, so please be gentle with me. Tips on how to get recognized as an IT and or security professional. I will tell you my side of the story, how I even started, how I did this. So the thing, just allow me, sorry, as a security professional or an engineer and everything. Next is new information security course. That's a new course that I developed for CodeRed. Actually, that's the third one, and I'm going to give you a few insights on that. And then I will give you, actually, I have a cool thing that they provided me to tell you, and that is a cool thing for the end. It involves a considerable discount for something, so I will share that with you. Also with so also, as they said, Dhanashree announced, we will talk about, actually I don't know, did she say that? But I'm going to say it right now. The hidden awareness training, that's the thing, that's a part of the trainings I do. But if we will have time for that, of course, we will do that. There's a little glimpse of, we're going to do a little hands-on training. I'm going to show you live how to do something to be more secure. Okay, so I hope we will have time for that. Yeah, feel free to put, if you get a question, obviously this is a live session, you can see that. I'm not pre-recorded or a robot or anything, but if you have a question, please write it down, and we'll have the Q&A afterwards. So the last 10 or 15 minutes we will discuss, or if you have a comment, or if I said something terribly wrong or something terribly good or whatever, you write it down and we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, about me, although Dhanashree said a lot of things. I'm from Croatia, Europe. Yes, I have a company here and I'm an information security professional, but the thing is that I have a systems engineering background, and I always tend to say that I'm not a programmer, I'm a system guy. Actually, I work with network security, went to a lot of certifications. I still do them. I went to law school. That's why I put in the parentheses unfinished. So I didn't finish, but always did IT certifications throughout my education, and I'm still doing that. Actually, I had an exam a few days ago, and it concerns of ISO, the standard, and won't talk about it until I get the credentials and everything that I was successful. So it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. So you can always, if you fail, I won't lie, I did fail. I did fail exams, and you just be better next time. That's it. Yes, I'm a trainer, lecturer, speaker, writer, consultant. Writer, not a novel writer, but working, as Dhanashree mentioned, I write for magazines and so forth. I'm an open source intelligence and privacy enthusiast. Yes, I love open source intelligence. If you don't know what it is, please go, and you can see it on CodeRed here. I'll show you actually a cool bundle. I did 2 courses on open source intelligence, and you can start with the basics and go to more advanced things. I'll show it to you. The thing is, I enjoy TV cameras. Yes, that is an anomaly for me as an IT guy, but I enjoy presenting, talking. This is also TV, almost, isn't it? So Yes, I play the guitar, singer, ex-biker, but that's not important. I want to show you something in regard to the internet, to the technology, to educating yourself to be better at something. In the picture, this is me. This is me about 10, 11, well, up to 11 or 12 years ago, something like that. No, actually not more, I would say 14, sorry, 14 years ago. 14 years ago, yes. The thing is, why I want to show this, because I want to provide you with, I want to tell you through my story that you can change, even in the physical sense, but you can learn new things. You can be better at something. Always strive to be the best, but the thing is to be better, to be the best that you can be. That's the thing, to be the best that you can be. And that if you're trying that hard, that's almost half the battle. Actually, it is half of the whole story. Okay, now to go to the information security and cybersecurity. So the thing with information security is, you know, that information security as a term or as a concept, and if you ask 10 different people what information security is, you'll get 10 different answers. That is not surprising. That's no surprise, actually. The best, probably the best definition, I would say, my description that I always choose, that information security, it goes like this: that is the protection of information and information systems from unauthorized access, unauthorized use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction, in order to provide three main things, pillars, sorry: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The famous CIA triad, not the agency. Okay, so, and cybersecurity is almost like that. Actually, cybersecurity is a subset of information security, because cybersecurity, when you talk about cybersecurity, you're talking about the digital security, or the how does it call, intangible, what's the correct word? Things, the things you cannot touch. They're maybe abstract. There's that information that is in your systems, in your computers, servers, wherever, whatever device. So that digital information, and that's the thing. That's the main difference. Information security. You can talk about information security of papers, physical papers. Those are information. Those are information data that is written down on the paper, and it needs to be secured. But it also consists of digital security, and that's the that part, digital information, like in the slide, is the thing that they overlap. So hope that makes sense for you. Now I will give you a few advices where to start with the courses and everything. Actually, here on CodeRed, I did the courses, so I'll show it to you. As I've said before, if you're interested in open source intelligence, it sounds cool, and it is cool, I have to say. That's the first course actually I did. That's the basic one, and it's a good. You will get a good base. You will get make a good ground to go further with the your studies. That's why I did the advanced open source intelligence and privacy, how the English will say. And that is very, I have to say, that is very interesting for you. But the last course I did, is information security for dummies. That's the last one, and that's about 4-hour course where I start from the real basics of information security. As you can see, this is the curriculum, the agenda of the course. So it consists of 7 modules, and I really encourage you to go through that. And great that I mentioned that with the course and everything. Well, why not say that I have a cool discount code for you that I will share. In the later in the course, actually in the last slide. Maybe I'll put it in the chat right now. I'll do that right now. Actually, allow me. So that's for the CodeRed Professional. I hope you can see this in the chat. No, I believe you cannot. Okay, I'll show it in the slide later on. Okay, so a few words about the clients. And it's a great, you probably learn everything, you take the education, take the courses, you're good at it, you know how things work, but can you sell it? That's actually, I'm afraid that's a thing that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, so you do business for yourself, like I do, it is a good thing to know how to sell things. And when we talk about clients, I always have a lot of, it's almost on a daily basis that I have some stories to talk because, you know, the moment you think you've seen it all, or you've seen not all, but you've seen a lot of things, then something surprises you. And that's it. That is exactly this. So that's why I wanted to share this pictures. You know how you always think that big companies with very important businesses, they do a lot of important things. They have a big number of employees. I don't know, revenue, whatever. But sometimes, I will not say usually, but more than often, the back end, the devices that run those businesses look something like this in the pictures. Yes, actually, I want to share the picture on the left. If you see it, the first picture on the left. Would you believe that is the main security device for a company that's about 500 people? So that was years ago. I managed to change that, and that's the thing with the selling part, marketing part. You have to consult your client, act as a professional, of course. But you have to advise them to make their systems and their data more secure, to make their businesses better and more secure, of course. So that's why I usually like to share these pictures always. Actually, I have a lot of pictures like this. But these are probably, I won't say the worst, but they're more, they're cool to see. Okay, so that's my client experience. There are a lot of stories, like I say, if we would talk only about the clients, we're going to talk probably a whole day about them. And that is cool, believe me, because you learn a lot of things. That's why my opinion is, besides the knowledge, the educational, like I said, the educational part, the courses to be good at information security, cybersecurity, whatever you want, is to be representative, like, you know, to be more business-like, to dress up, to take care of you, to learn. I have to be honest. When I started lecturing, the first lecture I did was 6-7 years ago. I went to learn how to talk more fluently, to talk. You know, this is English, okay, but to talk, how to even. The thing is, I remember I learned. I was learning how to use my hands while doing the presentation or education training or whatever, because that's an important, you wouldn't believe it, but that's an important part of any presentation, live presentation. Okay, this is live, but not in a way that we would want it to be live. Okay, a few things for you to, like I said, a few tips to get recognized as a professional is, and I'm sure you heard this before, and you hear of it all the time, is to have a website, maybe a blog. That's a cool thing, because in that way you can get recognized. I think this is the first time in human history we have the ability to show our skills to the whole public. Internet is big. To show off your skills, to write a blog about something that makes you credible about when you talk about things. And in the end, it's very interesting and fun. Sometimes I don't have the time for it, but I always put it in my. I have a notebook, special notebook with ideas. So I would write in there different topics, or I don't know, maybe tutorials. Like in the beginning of the course, this presentation, Dhanashree mentioned that I am a co-founder of the biggest regional free tutorial hands-on website, where so I write tutorials for at least 13 years. Yeah, I think it's 13 years. So and that's cool, and I like the feeling. Believe me, the feeling is great when you hear that something helped someone, you know, because I even write more technical stuff on which I spent hours to figure out. And if I can help someone to figure it out in a few minutes, that's great. Because sharing goes both ways. So I think it's my obligation to share knowledge like that. Second thing, important thing is headshot and a bio. So a good headshot, like from a professional photograph, if you cannot do it with a professional photographer or whatever, you can do it with mobile phones. Always nowadays already have good cameras, and you can make a good background and everything. So that is very important, because in the end, people, what's the first thing they see? They see a picture, or as you see mine on the screen right now. Different social things. I use LinkedIn a lot for years now, a lot of years. I was in all the breaches, I would say, the major LinkedIn breaches. LinkedIn is great for me, for business-wise, to learn to connect with people. There is useful content there. The second one that I use is Twitter, but mostly for learning about new stuff, to follow people, relevant people information security, cybersecurity, OSINT, whatever, big companies. I'm here getting the short versions of the news, new security news, new technology news, and everything. So networking, yes, that's a big part of everything. I mentioned that, and in the last webinar, in every webinar, I always mention this: networking is probably king. To connect with people in the same communities online. Okay, now it's mostly online, so it's okay, it's online. You can connect with people, people share knowledge, their experiences, just like I share right now, mine. So networking is very important, and you can do networking with access. I'm going to tell you a short story how I started with my networking. Okay, I'm an extrovert a little bit. I love talking to people. In the end, I enjoyed cameras, so that's obvious. But with technology, how I started in a way that I went to vendor events. I worked for a company back in the day. I was an employee, and I discovered vendor events. And since we are a small country, but beautiful, since we are a small country, usually always a lot of familiar faces were on those events. There are not a lot of people in the community. So that is very cool. So you get, you talk to someone, and when you talk to someone, you have common things, in common things. Like we were at a conference in, I don't know, 6 years ago together, but we didn't know each other, but we've seen each other. So that's kind of cool. So conferences, you have the ability to post, to apply for conferences. You don't have to attend, because usually conferences are expensive and everything, but you can apply as a speaker. I do that actually. I do those speaking engagements whenever I can. So I will do, what will I do? Yeah, we are kind of running out of time, and I cannot do the almost, maybe I can do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. The last awareness thing that I wanted to share, a 25-character password that I use in all my trainings. How to create a 25-character password that you can easily not forget, to remember it, and that it's complex in a way. So allow me to do this. I'm gonna just remove. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing, but I'm gonna share again. Hope you can see this. So the best password is a passphrase. So it consists of words, because the number of characters is king, is the main factor here. Not actually, we were trained for years to create passwords that are hard to remember but easy for the computer to guess. Because I've seen, actually, I have to be honest, I've seen labs where computer is guessing like 400 million times per second. That's unbelievable number. Yeah, billions of times per second. So the best password is, and you can check the NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, their recommendations, last recommendations for passwords is to use all characters, small characters, use words. I would recommend a few words, not that popular words from, for everyday use. I would say like house, job, a dog, your name, your birthday, or something like that. So all small, written together, but to be a long one. So let's work out on this. So I already prepared for it. Grudge, proof, smart. Now, this is about, I think it's 27 characters long. Maybe I counted it wrong, but the thing I would change here is this. Not information, but information, because when you type, you usually, at least I, and I know a few people that do, usually I type it this way, and that's wrong. And that isn't probably in the dictionary. So information, grudge, proof, smart. So these words can have some meaning to you, but to someone else, I would say not. So if you put this in an online, just go check it out. If you put this in an online password quality, how's it called? Quality checker or something like that. You can see that for this kind of password, it would be millions of years, trillions of years, or some big number of years to even crack it. So hope this made sense. This is very short to train you something, but I really wanted to share this because passphrases are the most important thing. Perhaps, not perhaps, but when you use this with the combination of password manager, which you can check out in the, I think I talk about it in the open source intelligence courses, where I show it actually how to do it, how to use the password manager. Feel free to check that out and use these passwords. Please do not reuse passwords, and please use complex passwords like this, passphrases actually. Okay, now we are almost, like 30 minutes. We're over 30 minutes. Just allow me to put back the presentation. Okay, here it is. Yes, lastly, knowledge is the best asset. Why I'm saying this? Because that is something you cannot easily lose that. I don't know everything, of course, but the main thing is that you know where to look. And that is today, that is key, I would say. You're good at something, you have a wide, maybe you have a wide interest of things and everything, but you know where to look. You know, when you Google stuff or whatever, if you write one word like, I don't know, headache in Google, you will get millions of results. But if you narrow it down, actually, I talk about this in the open source intelligence courses, which that was a great reminder. I have a short bundle to share with you. There is a bundle for open source intelligence course, and it's called Open Source Intelligence Course Set, which, because of technical issues, I cannot show you the slides right now. So, but keep that in mind, the open source intelligence bundle that's available on CodeRed. I would like to thank you, but this is not the ending, because I'm waiting for your questions. Just give me a moment where I will receive those questions. Okay, help.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Tino, for the insightful and informative session. I
Yes,
really hope that all the attendees have really enjoyed this amazing presentation.
thank you,
If you're
Dhanushri.
interested,
Just again to say it out loud. As you can see on the slide, that's what I almost forgot. The CodeRed Professional 30% off, which is a considerable discount coupon code. Use it special 30. It's special 30. So I'm waiting for the questions to show up on my screen. Sorry, Dhanushri.
no worries, Tino. Thank you so much for the insightful session. Attendees, if you're interested to learn more about our programs, kindly take part in the poll that will be just launched on your screen. Meanwhile, we will go ahead and take some time for the questions now. Just a reminder, be sure that you type all your questions, all your doubts in the question box in the control panel. It looks like we already have a few questions.
Before the questions start, I'm waiting for them. I have a question for you, for the audience. Just one question. If you remember, and that will be in the poll questions, what does the CIA acronym stand for in the context of information security? If you remember, I will give you a few hints. First is actually not. I will provide you with possible answers, but I will give you a hint. First, it's the CIA stands for certain information access. Second, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Remember this second. The third one, confidentiality, integrity, accessibility, and fourth, cluster of integral. Sorry, got lost with the word there. ATMs. So, I have a question. So, keep in mind, remember that confidentiality, integrity, and availability is very important. So, just a thing. Okay, now for the question. Okay, I'll look at it. Okay. Actually, someone is asking, can you explain the difference between information security and cybersecurity? We obviously did that. So I have a cool question. What is the scope of someone with non-IT background enter cybersecurity sector? What is the growth potential here? Okay, that's a good question. And I usually get that a lot. The first thing, sometimes before I was also a non-IT guy, but to start with information security, you would have to start with the basics, like networking, to learn about computers, how do they work, how the networks work, how does the internet work in the end. Those are the basics. You have a lot of, I usually, since I'm a Cisco guy, like for networking and system engineering, Cisco has a great course for that, CCNA. So I would say that those courses or CompTIA are great for starters. I think it's CompTIA Network Plus, something like that. CompTIA also has Security Plus, that is also cool. But the basics, because you have to get those basics, just because there were a lot of abstract terms. When someone says, that information goes through cables, you have to know what kind of cables are, what kind of devices, routers, switches, just for you to be physically know what kind of devices are those. Okay, so I would suggest definitely basics like networking basics and some programming basics. And that's it. That is linked to the next question. Hello, Tino. Which programming languages are recommended to learn in the career or InfoSec or cybersecurity? Okay, good question. I'm not a programmer, but what I had to learn, and I'm always learning about it. When we talk about programming languages, especially in security, Python, it's the basic language that, and it's an easy to learn language. It's really a friendly programming language. I started to learn Python a few years back just because a lot of the tools that I use for security, like security tools, and I'll mention them also in the open source intelligence courses, because we work there labs with Linux and everything. Those tools are written in Python, you know. So I wanted to learn what is. I don't have to be a programmer. I don't want to be a programmer, but I want to know the syntax. What is written there? So I would suggest Python. There are a lot of entry courses. Great. Here also check out on CodeRed. There are a lot of basic courses that you can check out and start with. Okay. Is it good to take cybersecurity as a double major with computer science? That's a great combination. That's a short question and short answer. That's a great combination. Okay. Someone asked me, how did I start a career in InfoSec? How do you start a career in InfoSec? I'll return to this before, to the previous answer. Start with the basics and then go for the basics of information security, like that. And when you see one basic course, you will get many ideas. Actually, right now, what I'm learning and working on actively with projects and everything is the ISO 27001, the information security management system, in the implementation of it. So that's a cool start. But to get, in my opinion, to get to that point, you have to do a lot of basic stuff. I still do engineering work, not that much, system engineering work. I like data centers. I like going out and configuring routers, I'm happy when I solve a problem, like a system engineer problem, when I configure something, doesn't matter. Is it Linux? Is it a router? Or is it Windows, Microsoft, or MacBook, whatever? But it is cool. There's a technical question. What are the benefits of salting in password? I will not go into that, but the benefits are numerous. So because salting enhances the strength, the security of a password. As you know, the system adds a little bit to the passwords, and that's salting. That's why it's called salting, because it's adding to the original password something. It's more secure. Okay. I have I have one. I will take this as the last question. Just give me a second. Ooh, there are a lot of complicated questions here. I'll choose not the simplest one, but because we are really out of time. What is the best route to go? Example, pen tester, security audit, or ethical hacker? Well, pen tester and ethical hacker is very much almost synonyms, but not entirely. This is a big question. I'm not a pen tester. I went to ethical hacking back in the day when it was the version 7. I went through the training, version 7. So that was quite a years back. Now I think it's version 11, and that's one of the best experiences for me. Whether those are one of the best experiences for me because I got the engineering part of security, how hackers do it. So I learned about social engineering, different types. I learned about Linux, about different tools that are used for attacks, for password cracking, for wireless cracking, whatever. So I would say that's a great step for you to go through the training. And okay, it's great to get certified, but nevertheless, if you're not even going to do it, if you're not going to use that knowledge, it will come in handy if you're only going to if you're pursuing, I don't know, auditing, or it's when you do an audit, if you know those things, that's a really big advantage to you. Believe me. That's why when I do security awareness trainings, I do it also for IT. Actually, right now I'm developing security awareness for developers, and I have a whole story about for developers and security. That's a high tech. I would say, curriculum agenda, but that's the hardest part, and I can talk about it because I am an IT guy. So I would definitely suggest for you to go through the IT stuff. IT is mandatory. I think it's mandatory for anything, the basics. And that's, I have a great question. What is the best certificate to master in security? I'm afraid there isn't a best certificate. The best certificate, you are the best certificate in your knowledge and how you use that knowledge. You know that a degree and a certificate gives you better opportunity. You can learn a lot of stuff and gives you a better opportunity, but you can go only for the trainings. So I couldn't say what is the best certificate. I have a lot of certificates. I have a lot of expired certificates because I didn't, work on them. But certificates are something that is good, but because of the knowledge you will get, the trainings are invaluable. Okay, there are a lot of more questions, but sorry, we're really out of time. My team for CodeRed will probably is going like this. Tino, stop. Okay, so yeah. So I will kind of wrap it up, maybe. Okay, I'll do one more question. Okay. Let me go through. Isaiah, programming. We already answered about programming. There is a very interesting. I worked in information security for 3 years in an IT risk and audit role. That's a great role because I'm learning about it right now. I have been out of the workforce for a couple of years now, and my skills have dulled. What approach would you suggest to re-enter the workforce? In example, would you suggest starting with a certification? What would your approach be? Definitely, my approach would be to start with the basics and the basic certification, with some system engineering networking certification like Cisco that I mentioned, CCNA, or CompTIA Network Plus, something like that. And then after those basic certificates with system, where you will learn about systems and their designs and how to configure stuff, you will advance to more advanced topics like things in information security, in cybersecurity. Yeah, definitely, I would suggest approach it with a basic certification since I'm an IT system engineering guy, I would go with the networking part. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Dhanashree, are you here somewhere
Yes, Tino,
in India?
I am here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tino, for answering those questions and for the
Difficult questions, actually.
and for the super insightful and informative presentation. It was really a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you
Thank you,
very much.
everyone. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you being here. And thanks again for joining us today. We will see you next time.
Use the code and go with the well, I didn't provide my affiliate link. Yeah, I'm the worst, I know, but use the code RED pro coupon for 30% off.
Thank you. Thanks, Tino.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.